What's up, y'all? Brendan here, hanging out doing a little solo session today at the studio. And today we're gonna go over the new Kilter Jimmy Southern Way VTF line. Really excited to try these things out. Super lightweight, super versatile. And we're gonna be setting 5 boulders at 5 different angles, so let's do it. And I think it'd be really cool if for like all of the boulders that we have at the different angles, that we try to keep it around that like V5 grade. I think the holds definitely have the ability to, so let's see it. So my idea is they kind of like press to start, and then they walk the feet through, and then they do one of these little like kick outs here. Awesome, so that was boulder 1. Feels pretty good, pretty in that intermediate range. And now we're gonna drop it 10 degrees and move on to boulder 2. So my intention with this climb is not to do a paddle. But it seems like that setup is starting to come together, so I'm gonna think about some way to kind of avoid that paddle situation. Is I think one of those later, maybe with some volumes, could be really nice. So I'm almost thinking here, maybe get a heel hook here, kind of cross over, and then swing out into like a, maybe even a knee bar or something of that sort. We'll see. Let's do it. So that was boulder number 2. One thing that I thought was really nice about it was just being able to like utilize the 3-dimensionality of the holds, especially through the knee bar sequence, which I thought was pretty nice. And then just having different hold types throughout the line. So some of them like felt really good and you can really just like rip off of them. Other ones were not quite as good, and I felt like any like toe hook or heel hook or knee bar that I had in place was generally really useful, and without it I would have struggled like a lot more. So especially keeping it within that grade range, that was really nice. With that being said, I think we should drop it down to 20 degrees and do boulder number 3. So for boulder number 3, I think it would be cool if we get a little bit more campusy as we added these volumes here, kind of give a little bit more 3-dimensionality. So I think it'd be really cool if we started to get a little bit more like swinging, jumping, that kind of stuff. Really like utilize how good some of these holds are at these steeper angles. And then at the top, I think it'd be really cool if we were to get this like little double heel pinch situation, as that's one of the worst ones. So yeah, I think we should try it. I don't think I'll be able to get my foot here just because I lack hip mobility, but somebody else may be able to. Let's give it a shot. So that was boulder number 3. Really excited with how that turned out. I feel like it's really different than the last 2. Uses like different parts of the holds, and then the 3-dimensionality of the volumes really helps a lot with some of these jumping moves. We're gonna drop this thing 10 degrees and set another boulder. So I think for the 30-degree boulder, it would be really sick if it were to be a little bit more like intense rather than risky. So maybe like a little bit slower movements, more tension, more like lock-off strength, that kind of stuff. Just showcase how these holds feel and how they look when you're not jumping back and forth between them. So I think that'll be like a good way to go for this one, just kind of offer up a different movement than the last few. So I feel like these holds really lean themselves well to being able to spit people off, because you don't quite know exactly how good these holds are until you grab them. From below, they all look pretty good, and they look about the same, but like really until you get your hand on them, you don't quite know. So I feel like having just a little bit of risk through this climb will add a lot to the overall experience on it. Psych is higher than ever. Let's give this thing a rip. Overall, I think this thing's pretty sick. Definitely a little bit more dynamic than I thought it'd be, but I think that's just honestly my style as a climber. And if I were to put this up in a commercial gym, maybe I space down a few of the moves, just make it a little bit more equitable. But it's not a commercial gym, so I think that this thing's dope and I'm ready to move it down to 40 and do our final climb of the day. All right, cue wall moving while I strip scene. Well, I've made it this far, pretty much exclusively setting new age dynamic stuff, so why stop now? So we have boulder number 5 in front of me. Apparently I just went more dynamic, more big, more over the top, more flamboyant, so let's see how it climbs. Oh. Hard. Whew, I need to lay off the cinnamon rolls. So yeah, that was 5 different climbs at 5 different angles with the Jimmy Southern Waves VTF series by Kilter. Overall, really psyched with how the climbs turned out. I felt like they all hit that like intermediate-ish spot, and it was really easy to do with the holds. Just like they have a lot of versatility. They are very 3-dimensional. They lend themselves to a lot of movement really naturally. And overall, these things are really sick, and I'm excited to use them more.